Alright, well, it's Sunday morning. Halloween, I guess. We are headed to the track. Got the car on the trailer. Kind of glad I'm designing it as a car that can drive itself to the track, because getting it on that trailer is a pain. Because the trailer is kind of tall and the car is kind of low. But we made it. There's also not a lot of visibility out of the car, so you can't really tell where the wheels are. Like my old Firebird, you just stick your head out the window and you knew it. This thing, not so much. But headed over to State Capitol Raceway. They're supposed to be running a test and tune today. Opening up in about 30 minutes. We'll see how she goes. It's been a while since I've been here. Last time I was here was probably in 2007. Firebird was still running. So, we will see. Made our first pass. It hooked 1164, 115. But it was making a horrible noise on my way back. The engine's good. Never got over above. Never really got over about 185 temperature-wise. Nice 164 60-foot time, and I was barely off of idle. 740 in the 8th. 1163.98 at 115. But I noticed it was vibrating pretty bad as I was coming back and through the pits. And if we get under here, you might notice the rear end housing is kind of pointed in the wrong direction. And if you look at the bottom 4-link bars, that's suboptimal. So both of them are just torn off. So this thing is going to need a little bit more substantial bracketry, possibly some rear end changes, because I think this is a mid-10 second car once my new transmission comes in. If I can keep the rear end under it. Holy smoke. Alright, well, we'll get back home and try to reassess. Well, that was something. I guess it's better than I'd ever hoped it would be. We're in 1164 at 115, 164 short time, with a, I wasn't paying much attention because it was just first time running it. Maybe an 1800 RPM launch, if that. It's only got a 2200 RPM converter in it. But burnout went perfect, and it dead hooked. No, I mean, it just ripped. Like I said, ran through. I short shifted it a bit because I don't have a shift light in it or anything, and it's kind of hard to pay attention to everything while you're trying to drive because it felt a little squirrely. My dad and mom said it looked like it went real straight, but it did not feel right. And then after I got off the end of the track, we found out why. I noticed that it had a real bad vibration in it when I was pulling off the end of the track and going to get the time slip. I thought I hurt the motor, put it in neutral, revved it up, no issues there.
Use the right lane to exit right.
Oh, shut up.
Then keep left.
Yeah. But, so revved it up, neutral, no issues with the motor, but the drivetrain, every time you just get on the gas, it was real bad. I thought I broke a U-joint or something like that. And, as you'll see, or as you saw, we damn near tore the rear end out of it. It is not designed to handle 550 or so or better foot-pounds of torque and a slick. So I got some thinking to do now, because obviously I need to completely restructure that whole rear end system so it can handle what this thing can put together. I think that this truck could be high 10-second car, high 10s, possibly mid 10s with the new transmission and the 3600 RPM converter and different gears. And that's with iron heads. So she may be getting a roll bar. I don't really know what I'm going to do to that rear suspension. Maybe a ladder bar would be probably the simplest. But I'm going to have to reconsider every mount on it because they're all about as cheesy as the ones that bent. So it's Gonna be interesting. This is gonna take a little bit of work. I guess I'm kind of glad now that I didn't get into sick week, because I don't know that I'm gonna have this finished by then at this point. So anyway, I'll get home, take a better look at the Carnage. Okay. Alright, it's not really a great lighting, but to get that like that. That's not supposed to be bent quite in that manner. So, well, we're gonna have to figure something out, because yeah, my parallel bars are no longer as parallel as they used to be. Good grief. Yeah, that's a little cockeyed. And the pinion angle is kind of extreme. Pointing. Oh wow! Holy shit! Look at that. That thing was so high up that the damn drive shaft was hitting the floor, and actually almost cut through the emergency. I think it did. It cut through the emergency brake cable. Wow. Wow. That is, that's something. Yeah. This was a 4x4. This kind of pinion angle is perfect, as you can hit up to your transfer case. But it's a little less than optimal when you got 20 degrees nose up. And that did that all on a lunch. I ran the whole damn strip like that. Holy smoke. Good night. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do a little bit of re-engineering for these bar mounts, because yeah, they're all kind of made out of maybe 1/8 inch, 3/16 max. I don't know, it might be a quarter, but yeah, it ain't enough. It is not enough. And this, given what it ran, and the fact that it wasn't even, I didn't even brake stand it that much. I mean, I think with the new transmission, the new torque converter, this thing could 60 foot down in the 1/4s. Yeah. So this is going to take some redesign, because that's not optimal. Phew, I'm glad it didn't do any more damage than it did. Everything's good. I don't think I jacked up the yoke much. That U-joint's probably chunk. Not too happy, because that's what was vibrating, was that U-joint. It's completely bound right now. Yeah, that's a little bit more suspension movement than you want, I would think. I think I may have actually bent the shocks, because it pulled the rear end so far forward. I think it actually bent the upper rods for the shocks. That's all going to have to come off. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do. I think it actually bent the lower shock mount. We will see. Well, I guess I didn't have to worry about traction. That I had. But what I didn't have is strong enough attachment points for the suspension links. So, yeah, this is going to take some work. We're going to have to do some figuring on this baby. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do, but I'm going to check around, ask a few guys at work I know who race seriously, and see if they know of any chassis shops that do this kind of stuff, race car type stuff, and maybe bring this over to them, talk to them, and see what their thoughts are about maybe getting ladder bars under this to control it somehow. That's going to be a little stiffer. I didn't really want to do ladder bars because they can be kind of brutal, but apparently this car is pretty brutal. Jesus Christ, look at that. It's just an S. Good Lord. Oh well. Hey, we made it. It was interesting. It was fast. And so now we're going to have to figure out what our next step's going to be for this thing, because it needs some stouter parts in the back, apparently. Everything else was good. The engine ran good. Throttle position sensor was still screwing up, but it did fine through the burnout. And the pass itself, no issues. I didn't log anything because I didn't think that this was what was going to break. So, I don't know. Well, anyway, we found the next weakest link, or the weakest link, and it happens to be the suspension mounting points off the rear end. So, I don't know whether, I don't think I can legitimately go with a leaf spring, I don't think. Who knows, anything's possible, I suppose. But, yeah, so that's where we're at. Track day was eventful, to say the least. So, anyway, we're going to carrying on, and we'll see what we can come up with to get this thing a little bit more capable of not destroying itself every pass. Anyway, oh yeah, I want to give a thanks to John. I didn't get his last name. He races a silver Mustang with a 351 in it. I had one of my transmission lines started to leak as soon as we got there, and I only had one clamp to fix it. He managed to scrounge a little tiny hose clamp off some extra piece on his car and gave it to me so I could actually make the run. So that was really nice for somebody who'd never seen me before. I do appreciate it. So State Capitol, really good track, and certainly prepped well enough to rip steel. Anyway, all right, we'll keep you all posted. Hope you're all having a good weekend. Talk to y'all later. Take care.